Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty, and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. We are here for the March show, the March 2023 show, which of course is titled Super Showdown! In our main event of the evening, the three greatest tag teams in the history of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling go head to head to head to head to head to head. Because there are six of them, you know, you get the six heads, yeah. Anyway, they go head to head to head to head to head for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships. The Aces Mayhem, the Dynamite Express, and of course Acid and Stuntman Devil May Care. That's our main event of the evening. Also, big money match tonight. Continuation of Dewey Archer's kind of reformation tour, as it were. He's been in California this month. He's been in Puerto Rico this month. Big changes ahead for the architect of your destruction, Dewey Archer. Tonight he takes on, of course, Froshur, a man who has lost everything and wants just that one opportunity to take something back from this world of professional wrestling. There's only one place he can do that, right here in the territories, in the best territory on the planet today. Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, the Capitol Gardens, greatest venue we have ever seen. Not just saying that because we can't fill a bigger venue because of the fucking terrible economy and wrestling industry right now. Fuck you, Killer Shark and Randy B. But yes, indeed, Capitol Gardens, best venue in the United States. I swear it. Let's get into the show tonight. Big show, big times. We're also gonna have a Coastal Zone tag team match between the Heartbreak Express and the Southern Stars. So big stuff ahead of us. We kick things off with the Mean Machine squashing a local talent, Shooting Star Perez, by pinfall with the mood swing. Shooting Star Perez trying to pick up the fast-paced Californian action, going rope to rope, hitting the high-flying, fast-paced, high-octane adrenaline rush, as Brian Alvarez likes to say, matchup. Is it Brian Alvarez? It's not Brian Alvarez. It's Wade Keller. Shit, I've got my journalists confused now. Oh, whatever. Adrenaline rush matches. Of course, the Shooting Star Perez likes to take part in. The Mean Machine's different. He's gritty. He's down to earth. He beats the shit out of you, and that's indeed what the Mean Machine does tonight. Picks up the victory with that big mood swing, continuing in the steps, of course, of the original Mean Machine, Mean Gene Catley. Perhaps we will be seeing more of the Mean Machine in coming months. As we move on to the first leg of our Coastal Zone tag team match, Animal Harker with his stump pile driver picks up the victory, putting the Southern Stars 1-0 ahead of the the Heartbreak Express. I've got my Express-based tag teams confused. And indeed, the Southern Stars, reeling after their title loss at Where It All Begins Again, start off well tonight with a 1-0 lead. As Bossman Brayfield comes out to the viewer and says things needs a little bit of doing. You see, tonight, Ernest Youngman is going to have his official World's Heavyweight Championship celebration. And to mark his wonderful, wonderful accomplishment, we're going to have a number one contenders situation over the next couple months. Matches happening at Old School Rules and Americana, leading in, of course, to Fan Festival, where we will have a huge Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship match. Thank you. And in a bit of a shock victory, Tennessee Williams defeats Ralph Liotta in the second leg of the Coastal Zone tag team match, picking up the victory with his Devil's Crossroads. These two going at it with their Southern style grappling, a little bit of wrestling, going back and forth, jockeying for position, but in the end it is the Southern Star. It is Tennessee Williams with his love of music, picking up the victory here with his Devil Crossroads 2-0 victory, as the Southern Stars are victorious without even needing a tag team match to settle the score. Big victory here from Tennessee Williams. And Ernest Youngman comes out for his championship celebration. It's early 2 belts. He has both belts around his waist, but before you can even get to the ring, where there are balloons and confetti falling from the sky, Davis Wayne Newton ambushes Ernest Youngman, beats the shit out of him. A crimson mask across the purple sunglass face of the wrestling machine, the greatest there's ever been. Of course, his 2 belts strung across the floor as a deranged, almost psychopathic Davis Wayne Newton goes to work on him with a chair, battering, bloodying him and bruising him, throwing him to the curb before picking up a microphone and sitting cross-legged in the middle of the ring and says, Ernest, nobody gives a shit about your big victory, about your year of Ernest Youngman, about earning 2 belts, you fucking tool. Nobody cares about you. Everybody's sick of you. You're stale. You're old news. I liked you in 2019. No. This isn't the year of Ernest Youngman. There have been far too many years of Ernest Youngman. You know what makes me sick? A number one contender situation. I'm the number one contender. In October of last year, I won a number one contenders match, and I still haven't had another match. I still haven't had my shot at the championship. And you know why? It's because people in the back, they don't like me. They think I'm a loose cannon. They think I'm dangerous, that I'm risky, that I'm crazy. Well, they're right. But I still deserve my title shot. And you know what? I spent my entire life getting screwed over and getting stopped from earning things that I deserve. And it's not going to happen again. So fine, put up your barriers. Put up your cliffs, your mountains. Make me crawl, make me climb to that Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship. Because quite frankly, I will crawl and I will climb and I will leave a trail of blood behind me. And you will regret ever spitting in the face of Davis Wayne Newton. And of course we have a short intermission as the ring is cleaned. And as if to compound the point onto Ernest Youngman, who is almost certainly seeking medical treatment, we have, of course, the man with the briefcase, James Diaz, picking up a big victory with the Monster Mash over Gary Walker. Spirited performance from Gary. As usual, passionate, trying to fight mano a mano with the big money monster James Diaz as MC Motormouth. Cheers from ringside as his monster takes every hit Gary Walker throws at him and throws Gary Walker around with a mixture of suplexes and brawling action. Eventually picking up the victory. Impressive victory from James Diaz. And then, of course, in the middle of the ring, James Diaz proposing in the money way that we know he is. He is the Rainmaker. He is the big money monster. He is James Diaz, and behind him, of course, MC Motormouth, the man who pulls all the strings, holds up the briefcase. Of course, this year's Ripcord Invitational champion, James Diaz, has a briefcase that allows him a Mid-Atlantic Championship shot whenever he wants. So it's not just Davis Wayne Newton or the number one contender situation hanging over Ernest Youngman's head, because the big money monster can pick up a title match whenever he pleases. Some very ominous signs for the championship reign of Ernest Youngman tonight. Dewey Archer heads to the interview area and he says, "Sweet Tabitha, tonight I get to face Froshur. It's a man who has lost everything, and you know, the greatest of sympathies for Froshur. I went out to California this month. I got to fight some of the greatest that state has ever put out. And one of those men is, of course, Froshur. And tonight I get to fight a man who is fighting for everything, who is fighting for that one opportunity to get something out of professional wrestling. And, you know, you look at me and I'm doing the same. You know, I've called myself the uncrowned number one contender. I've called myself the uncrowned champion. I am the most must-see superstar in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history. And you know what? I've said those things, but it's time to prove those things. And Froshur is one of my obstacles tonight as I continue my rehabilitation tour, as I fight my way across the territories, from here all the way to the other coast, from sea to shining sea, baby. The Architect is the best wrestler in the world, and you will not stand up to the Proton Lock. And Dewey Archer prepares to have a good match with Froshur. Indeed, it is a good match, and he does lock in that legendary Proton Lock. Froshur bringing that high octane kind of high-paced brawling. We don't hear a lot from Froshur these days. We don't hear a lot of chatter, a lot of talking from Froshur, of course. It's been a few months since that defeat at Where It All Began Again. And Froshur, of course, taking a very emotional defeat at Where It All Begins Again. Taking a very emotionally draining match with Davis Wayne Newton. We haven't heard a lot from Froshur, but we see a lot. The fire, the desperation in every match that he fights. And, you know, we saw that kind of desperation from Davis Wayne a couple of years ago. And that desperation, it turned into darkness. It turned into hatred. And now tonight, he is deranged. We've seen the deranged side of Davis Wayne Newton, but what you are looking at in Froschur is a man with principles, a man with values. And even though he has lost everything, we still see a man unwilling to compromise, with an iron will. But you know what? Sometimes the good guys do finish last. And tonight, Dewey Archer, he's not a cheater either. We're not saying that he cheated or anything like that, but Dewey Archer, he's got that cutting edge. He's willing to lock in those submission holds just a little bit tighter. Sorry, I just found, I saw a crisp on my desk, and I was like, I'm going to pick up the crisp and I'm going to eat it, because it's a crisp. And then I'm now realizing that it was not a crisp. So I'm dealing with that situation. So apologies there for the interruption. Yes, Dewey Archer, he's willing to lock those holds in a little bit longer. He's willing to be a bit more vicious, a bit more nasty. He's flamboyantly evil, in a way. And he's not evil, but he's flamboyantly nasty. Going from hold to hold in a smooth, flashy way. Crowd-pleasing with his charismatic brawling. The kind of style that we love here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. And he does that. He goes from hold to hold. He works down the limbs of Froschur, the Californian brawling machine. But it's not enough. It's not enough. It is enough. But Froschur's iron will is not enough. And you've got to start asking questions whether Froschur is really doing the right thing for his career by refusing to compromise the same way Davis Wayne Newton did. But tonight, Dewey Archer locks in that proton lock, and Froschur, not willing to risk years of his career like he did when he refused to tap out the Boston Crab all those years ago. Taps out immediately. Dewey Archer is once again on the warpath. After the match, MC Motormouth comes out and says, Dewey Archer, you know who I am, but just to introduce myself formally, I am the greatest management consultant in all of professional wrestling today. My name is MC Motormouth, and I manage the greatest wrestlers in the business today. And you want to go on a world tour? You want to tour the country, and you want to wrestle, and you haven't come to the only management consultation specialist in professional wrestling today. You don't want to be marketed as the greatest wrestler in the territories today. You don't want the best marketing for your world tour. Kid, I've got big business for you. You say you must-see superstar in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history. I can make you the most must-see superstar in every single city in this country if you wanted me to. So if you want to go on a world tour, if you want the brains of the operation, if you really want to become a world champion, shake my hand and join the dream team. Dewey Archer thinks about it for a second. He looks MC Motormouth up and down. He smiles, and he shakes MC Motormouth's hand. Dewey Archer joins up with the greatest management consultation specialist in all of professional wrestling. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our main event, and it is signaled by a backstage interview with Cameron Jones and Sid Collier, as Sid Collier gets up to the mic and he says, we were challenged in December to begin our challenge for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships to try and claim that we are the greatest tag team in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history. It ain't no claim, Kamikaze. It ain't no claim, Acid Stuntman. You're looking at the guy who turned one of the greatest tag teams in history into a worldwide brand, into a franchise. You guys are some minor league team, whereas we are the world champions. You want to name off accolades. You're so proud of being the World Tag Team Champions. We've done it. You're so proud of being 3-time Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions. We've done it. You're so proud of having won the Sam Keith Classic. Well, we didn't do that. But we won the Chicago Tag Team Championships. We won every single minor league championship in this business, and then we moved up to the big leagues. And that's where we are. That's who we are. We are the big leagues. You are looking at the hottest hot tag in wrestling history, Cameron Jones, and you're looking at the brains behind the operation. You're looking at the smartest tag team wrestler there has ever been. Because my name is Sid Collier. His name is Cameron Jones. We're the Dynamite Express. And kids, you better have some respect. Because we represent a different era of professional wrestling, a better era of professional tag team wrestling. We hung with the best. You think you're so hot because you beat old men ring generals. We beat them in their prime. We beat the Aces of Mayhem in their prime. We've beaten everybody. Even you. And tonight, we're going to do it again. And finally prove, undisputedly, that we built the MAW Tag Team division. And we can rule it whenever and however we like. The Aces of Mayhem follow afterwards, and they say, and Max Mayhem laughs and says, the Dynamite Express think they built this shit? Bitch, recognize. You're looking at the original tag team of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. We built this shit. You're looking at Ace Youngblood, the hottest, most decisive, most indestructible tag team wrestler on the planet today, and you're looking at Max Mayhem, the most exciting, innovative, crazy tag team wrestler you've ever seen. You're looking at the greatest Mid-Atlantic tag team in history, bar none. We built this shit, not you, and we're going to prove it once again tonight. And then, of course, we have Devil May Care and Kamikaze on the mic saying, you all came. You know, there's a saying where I come from, if you build it, they will come. And you are looking at such a good tag team. You're looking at a franchise of tag team. You're looking at the most Devil May Care, the most reckless, the most uninhibited. You're looking at the most uninhibited tag team in all of professional wrestling. We got so many belts, we can't carry them all. We got so much gold that we'd be thrown out of a bank. That doesn't make any sense. We got so much gold that we'll blind you every time we walk into a room. And if we were such, if we did not deserve respect, if we didn't deserve accolades, if we didn't deserve to be called the best, then you wouldn't come knocking at our door. We got to put together a 3-way tag team match between the greatest this business has to offer, because you respect these two men just as much as they respect you. So tonight should be a good night. It is the greatest tag team match in the history of this business. But you know what? You're looking at the greatest tag team. You're looking at the men who are knocking at the doors to Valhalla. And we don't care how many times you send us to the emergency room. Because at the end of the day, we will be rebuilt. We will come back stronger. More hungry, more aggressive, more reckless, and more brutal and vicious, because we will do anything to hurt you, and we will do anything to pick up the victory, because we are Devil May Care. Recognize. And of course, our main event of the evening, the Aces of Mayhem, the Dynamite Express, Devil May Care, history being made. Aces of Mayhem and Dynamite Express, they of course will settle in. They will fall into a tag team formula that we have seen many times before. The Dynamite Express trying to work down Ace Youngblood, trying to kind of isolate him off, cut the ring in half, as they like to do. Quick tags, keeping themselves fresh. Sid Collier, every opportunity he gets behind the referee's back, knocking around Ace Youngblood's nuts. Just quick kick to the nuts. Massive throw into the ring post. He rips the fucking cover off the turnbuckle, just grinds Ace Youngblood's head into it for a bit, the usual stuff. As the Dynamite Express kind of settle in. You know, they're older men now. You know, they're not old, but they're older. And they've been the 3-time tag team champions. They've been tag team champions in Chicago, like they said. They've been out there for the last year defending against anybody and everybody that wants to come at them in the great city of Chicago. In the Great Lakes region, of course. They've been defending their Chicago tag team titles, and they've learned a few tricks. And they don't need to go crazy. They're not Devil May Care. They're not going to hit the ropes. They're not going to go to the top rope. They're not going to do crazy shit just because they're mental. They're going to work a very simple, very tactical tag team match. But as always, in tag team wrestling, that doesn't work forever. And Ace Youngblood is indestructible. Ace Youngblood is... A fork just fell and I lost my train of thought. Ace Youngblood is passionate. He has that heart. He has that fire. And he leaps across the ring. And Max Mayhem, he brings the mayhem. He brings the chaos. He would fit in very well with Devil May Care if they weren't a bunch of bastards. And he hits the ropes. And he hits a Hurricane Rana. He hits a big dropkick. Heads to the top rope for his patented moonsault to the outside. And we get that traditional tag team action, as Dynamite Express are unable to hold the baby faces down long enough. But there's, of course, that third element. Because, of course, we have Acid and Stuntman, the Valhalla Boys. They don't care how much damage they take, so long as they can dish out just as much back. How many scars on their body, concussions, broken legs. Like they said, they don't care how many times they get sent to the emergency room, because they will be rebuilt and they will come back stronger, faster, more reckless, more innovative, more crazy, more corner cutting. We know Kamikaze likes to head to the production booth and smash people over the head with monitors. Well, these two are willing to do as vile, as vitriolic shit as ever. Vicious kicks, the nastiest legs you've ever seen from Acid and Stuntman, as they brutally knock their legs into the heads of Ace Youngblood and Cameron Jones, just trying to send their heads through a loop. And of course we get that high-flying, innovative action as they head over the ropes, as they head through the crowd. And of course Max Mayhem is just adding to this. Max Mayhem is giving back as much as he's getting. Every shooting star to the outside, Max Mayhem is countering with a fucking 450 from the with a tope 450 or something, and the weapons are obviously coming out. The referee realizes with the glory on the line tonight, he's just going to have to let a few things go, and tables are getting smashed, chairs are getting thrown, everything is going to all hell, because of course these are the three greatest tag teams in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history, and the violence escalates, but still in the middle of it are some of the greatest wrestlers, some of the greatest tag team minds in the business today. There are 10 tag team title reigns between these men. 9 between the teams. I believe it's Max Mayhem who has another with a different partner. A massive, massive amount of gold between these teams. And that's just Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Tag Team titles. We had World titles, we had Chicago Tag Team titles, we had Sam Keith Classics in, and you're looking at easily 15, maybe 20 titles. There is glory on the line, and of course if there's one team in this match who smell glory like a shark smells blood, it is the Valhalla Boys. It is Devil May Care, and you throw glory. You see the bastion, the light, the shining light of glory. If you put that in the face of Acid and Stuntman, they will jump on you. They will swarm, and they will fight to their last breath. They have been almost unstoppable in the tag team division over the last 5 years, and tonight they prove once again that all you gotta do is tell them there is something bigger than themselves on the line, and they will throw everything they have to achieve it. And sometimes, just sometimes, throwing everything you have is enough. And of course, Devil May Care pick up the victory and retain their Mid-Atlantic Tag Team titles. They, of course, hit Cameron Jones with the Jump the Shark to pick up the victory. Good win for Devil May Care. Good show in general. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you particularly enjoyed and are feeling especially generous, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. If you want to check out me rambling, there's a link to my Twitter in the description. Also, a lot of fun there. Really big main event too. Those 3 teams are really fundamental parts of this company, and I hope I sold the importance of that match to you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. We have some number 1 contender shenanigans over the next couple of months. Ernest Youngman thinks this is his year. He's looking for a tag team partner, but he's got his singles titles to defend, and as James Diaz and Davis Wayne Newton proved tonight, he's got challengers lining up at the door. How will he react? How will he defend? Find out next time on Mid-Atlantic Wrestling.